Alright, testing. Alright, so hello everyone. This is whoever's watching. This is just going to be a short commented run for Ultimate Baja. And it's just going to be for all of you guys who are in that sort of catch-22 who don't want to start the raid because you're not familiar with it, but can't get familiar with it because you also don't want to run the raid. Hopefully this is just sort of a middle ground. And I'm actually getting carried this run, luckily, so I don't have to do as much thinking on my part. So, before you start, some of the stuff you really do have to work out is right now the most popular team comps are the most popular team comps are 3 Sage, 3 Holy Saber, and 4 Holy Saber, 2 Sage. Okay, so you can kind of see right off the bat we are already jumping into some particular issues. Some of my carries have entered as the wrong class, so now we're 4 Sage and 1 Holy Saber right now. But hopefully things will be okay. And if not, we'll re-record and pretend this one never happened. So while we're waiting for the last person to join, I guess I can just talk about some other stuff. So right now we're at 5 out of 6. We're waiting for the last person to go. Generally, the last person will do a countdown in Discord or wherever you're organizing the run to make sure people can open for blue pots right before. This is probably not going to be as important in around a month whenever that new patch hits. So I don't have Discord up, but right now we're getting a countdown, so open to friends. So I should have 2 blue pots and someone should be joining any minute now. Okay. Okay, things are going wrong. This is fine. This is okay. Okay, yeah, there we go. So he's a little late on the countdown, but that's okay. So you can kind of see I'm going to just be going through all of the big HP triggers during the fight. So the first 5% usually goes pretty fast. Hopefully you have someone playing water to debuff. Otherwise you may want to invest in a... Oh, whoops, I kind of screwed up there. I shouldn't have attacked because I had a target on, but I was a little preoccupied. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so... yeah, don't attack. Sometimes in this phase, when he auto attacks, you'll get a target debuff. When that happens, he'll automatically respond with that one multi-hit move. So you want to ask for a clear or just use your own clear if you have one. It's not worth tanking if you can avoid it. What else? Oh yeah, so this kind of works out well for me. Sticker the clarity. Yeah, so I'm not going to be refreshing just for the purposes of this video. If you're normally running, you probably do want to refresh a lot of this because when you're stuck in these animations, you're watching animations, you can't clarity, you can't get stuff off cooldown. People are going to start thinking you're AFK because this guy's animations take a long time. So 85 is the next big stop point. You're going to really want a shield for this one because this kill flare will probably murder you. Unfortunately, I was a little bit late on the mashing turns. But that's fine. I think I can maybe... Oh, actually what happened was I missed all of the triggers. Okay, this is actually less than ideal. Okay. So what I missed was the 85% kill flare. You're going to want 100% shield for that, so hopefully you have a shield up. The 75 trigger is the one where he's going to switch out a lot of your characters. This is the one you also want to shield with, because yeah, you can see it does do quite a lot of damage too. And it also clears debuffs, so when you get through it, be sure to sticker. This is why you put some of your good characters in the back. So Song, if you're light, Water will put Uno and Altair in the back, unless you want to man mode it with just 3 support characters. So the next big trigger is going to be at 70%. This God Strike is the one where he's going to clear debuffs, and then essentially you get this big 15% HP window to wail on him. So if you're a light player, your goal here is to make it to 70% with Song in the front. I forgot to wait for another phalanx there, but this is probably okay. Okay, just barely okay. Yeah, don't do what I did. So at this point, now that there's a sticker out, I can wait for a Thor, if there is going to be a Thor. Not quite sure, so go ask. Is there a Thor? So if there's no Thor, what I'll do is mash one turn to get Song's Ogi up. When you're refreshing, you'll have gone through more auto attacks than I have, so you won't really have to mash this turn normally. And that will go a long way towards keeping you alive. Okay, so it looks like we don't have a Thor because that looks like a depravity, so... Oh, actually, Rhyme landed that, so that's nice. So yeah, so this is probably where Song is the most important. You really want a para here because his AoE attacks hurt, and he really likes a triple attack during this phase. I said I wasn't going to refresh, but I did it completely on reflex there. So when he's paralyzed, you really have to watch his HP bar. It goes down really fast, and the next trigger you want to watch out for is at 55%, and that is basically a absolute you have to cut or you are going to probably lose someone. So for now, I don't want to push. I don't want to use my nukes until, because I want to give our Holy Sabers, since we only have 2, they need to push more turns when it's safe. So I'm going to attack now that I have full shield. And now we just pretty much go ham until 50%. So 50% is probably the big RNG phase, because the trigger is 4. Of course, now it's at 50%. This is what happens when you don't refresh. This phase is kind of iffy because this move is 4 random hits of white damage. It's 30% of the target's max HP, but the kicker is because it's completely random, so you can deprave here if you want. Because it's completely random, there's a very small percent chance they all hit your MC, and then you just get chunked and die, and nobody really wants that. But that's the big one. So a lot of people will bring in a sacrificial SR character to tank that hit. So at 45%, there's another serious, but this one is elemental damage. So you can actually cut this one, and ideally you have a phalanx to go with it, but sometimes you just aren't that lucky. Oh no, there we go. Again, this was a sort of unoptimal comp because it was 4 and 2 instead of 3 and 3. We had too many sages this time. There was a little bit of a miscommunication. So at 40%, you're going to get another true damage trigger. So I have auto life up on my MC, so even if he gets chunked, it's not the end of the world. I feel pretty safe pushing a little bit more here, so yeah. Okay, yeah, there you go. So yeah, bye, rip. That shouldn't happen as much as it does, but you know, what can you do? The next trigger is going to be another elemental damage series. So this one, again, you can cut if you want. Yeah, so looks like we have a Percival that landed Fear, so we can definitely go a little ham. I think this one is fine. Okay, it was not actually fine. So one thing I am going to showcase here is something, it's a little bit of a tech. If you look at the next set of triggers, there's a trigger at 30% and a trigger at 28%. The one at 30% resets all of his debuffs and will basically reset his Ogi gauge. He has another trigger at 28 that gives him a max charge diamond. So here I'm kind of cheating. I shouldn't be stickering here, but I know that my allies are strong enough to push to 28. So at 28, he's going to refill his diamonds. So if you hold off on triggering the 30 right away, if you refresh to make sure he'll trigger his 28%, you can go through the Ogi. I'm sorry, I'm going to refresh this one. When you go through the Ogi, his trigger to reset his charge diamonds will clear it, so you basically get to skip, you get a freebie. You can skip the 28% trigger essentially for free. So that's something that if your group has one particularly strong person or two strong people, and you aren't as confident, you can say, hey, I'm a little scared, I want to hold off on that. So the next trigger is at 22%. This one also hurts, so you really want a phalanx for this one. I am going to full cut this one. And for this run, I'm designated as the 10% Thor, which means that at around 17%, I'm going to stop attacking, with also making sure that I have a summon available. So I'll probably do one more hit here. Then I'm going to just wait. So my job right now is to hold onto a Thor for 10%. So what's happening here is at 15%, Bahamut is going to trigger his Skyfall, which is a 100% absolute kill, same as normal Bahamut. But once it also will lock out your summons and refresh remove all of his debuffs. So, wow, alright, thanks Moku, you're so strong. So what will happen is 5 of the people will push through the trigger, survive Skyfall, push to 10%, which is another debuff clear and multi-hit move. And this last person, which because I've never attacked, I can still use my summons, I'm going to use my Thor at that point. Oh shoot, that's pretty sweet, but it's going to get wiped at 10%, which is kind of unfortunate. So for this part, I really want to count stickers. I'm looking for 5 stickers. Okay, so there's 1, there's 2. There's 3 at least. So I'm looking for 2 more stickers. Okay, 4 stickers. So 1 more. Okay, so that's 5 stickers. Alright, there's Thor. So now that my job's done, I can now go ahead and attack again. And yeah, and at this point, Bahamut should melt pretty fast now that he's not immune to debuffs. You can kind of just go ham. This run went, as you can see, it did go pretty fast. I did have some pretty strong people running with me, just because I was a little worried that commenting I would be a little distracted. But that's kind of the big points. There are some points that I was unable to go over because they went pretty fast. I may cover those in another one, but that's pretty much it. Just click this button, collect your gold bar, you know, same old, same old. So sometimes your gold bar is a little not as gold and a little flatter than you expect. That's a bug. That's what KMR told me the other day, but don't worry about it. That's it for me, so thanks for like the 2 people who watched this, I guess, and made it this far. Alright, thank you, and I guess I'll see you next time.